What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our first player ratings video of the season. The Reds drew a stalemate 1-1 at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in the opening game of the season. I'm going to go through the starting 11 and give you guys my scores from 1 to 10, and of course we'll include Jurgen Klopp at the end as well. What I want you guys to do is let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree what score you'd give the players and who is your Liverpool man of the match. I think it's fair to say Enzo did play really well for Chelsea. No issues around him getting man of the match. From a Liverpool perspective for me, well, I'll let you know as we go through who's my man of the match. So let's get straight into it. Alisson Becker, difficult one, made some good saves today. Not going to blame him on the goal. Nothing he could have done about that one. And I'm very grateful, as always, to have the big man right behind that defence. So I'm going to give Alisson a score of 7 out of 10 today, my friends. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that one. Moving on to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Lots of people saying to me today that they were happy with Trent defensively, but they wanted a little bit more going forward. That's a nice headache to have for once, in all honesty. I thought Trent did okay today. I don't think he did too much wrong. I don't think he did too much right. I think a score of 6 out of 10 for Trent is probably fair. We just need to stop conceding. Now, of course, I'm not blaming Trent on that, but teams are aware that there's going to be space in behind, and we need to make sure that our press is on point to stop them being able to execute that ball over the top. So, as I said, I'm going to give Trent a score of 6 out of 10 today, but let me know if you agree or disagree. Moving on to Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool's new captain. I thought he was brilliant today, Van Dijk. Still questions about that recovery pace of his, but himself and Matip did lead the line well. The goal, though, I'm frustrated because we didn't get out quick enough. Chilwell just headed the ball straight through the centre of our defence, and Chelsea got the equaliser. Other than that, though, I do think he did well, dealt with everything that was put in aerially, and we can build from it, but he needs help ahead of him. We need to have a recognised number 6 in there. So, going to give Virgil van Dijk, the same as Trent, a score of 6 out of 10 today. Kanade, I thought, was the better of our two centre-backs. No issues with the yellow that he took. He had to take it. He had to bring the man down. So, yeah, I think Ibu did well. And I think we have one hell of a fine centre-back at Liverpool Football Club. He does need help at times when Trent vacates that right-hand side. But in all honesty, I felt like Chelsea were more dangerous on the other side. So maybe that's a big plus in Ibrahima Kanade's points tally. I'm going to give him a score of 7 out of 10 today for me, Ibu. I thought he was slightly better of our two centre-backs. Do you agree or disagree? You know what to do. Andy Robertson, probably the player defensively who, in my live comments, was coming in for the most criticism. And I don't know if it's because he was being overran by numerically on that right-hand side with Reece James and Raheem Sterling, or whether Andy Robertson was just too slow. It's hard to know because he wasn't getting enough support from the likes of Diaz and Jota. In my opinion, he needed more because the pace of Raheem Sterling and Reece James is phenomenal. So I don't want to be overly harsh on Andy Robertson, but I do think I agree with people that he was the weaker part of our defensive line. So I'm going to give Robbo a score of 5 out of 10. It might seem harsh, but I think a lot of you will agree. Moving into midfield now. This is my man of the match for Liverpool, by the way, Alexis McAllister. And I'm a bit of a fanboy. I'm going to make that very clear from the start. For this dude to be able to play in that number 6 position, now not as well as Enzo has, not as well as we'll get when we bring in a recognised number 6, but he's so clever, he's so good under pressure, he can break up play and win balls, he is good going forward, and I can't wait to see him up in the advanced position alongside Dominic Szoboszlai. I think it's going to be a pressing machine. I love him. I'm so happy he's a Liverpool player. So for me, I'm going to give Alexis McAllister a score of 7.5. Just a little bit ahead to give him the man of the match from me. So let me know if you agree or disagree. 7.5 for me for Alexis. Dominic Szoboszlai, I felt like this was a real game of two halves for Dom. First half, awesome. Everywhere. Pressing, covering, eye for a pass, really impressive. Second half, maybe we were being overran elsewhere, maybe he was starting to flag a little bit, but I don't feel like he had the same impact on the game that he had in the opening 45. So, got to give Dom a score of, let's be fair, 7 out of 10 today overall. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that one. Cody Gakpo feels like he's been wasted. in midfield. And look, needs must and all that. It was a tough decision for the manager, I'm sure, to figure out whether he goes with Szoboszlai and Gakpo or Szoboszlai and Jones. He went with Szoboszlai and Gakpo, and I feel like it was probably the wrong decision in hindsight, but it's much easier to do in hindsight. He looked better to me when he was put centrally, or he does look better when he is centrally. And I don't think he linked up play from midfield as well today as we've seen previously. Whether that's, fair play to Chelsea or whether we just weren't finding the space, I truly don't know. I'd like to see him through the centre now instead of Diogo Jota. So I'm going to give Gakpo a 6 out of 10 today. Don't think he was terrible. Don't think he was great. Moving ahead, Lucho. Well, let me just say this. Great finish for the goal. Really, really good. The goal all over was brilliant. The ball from McAllister to Salah. Salah's first touch, then his vision for the pass. But great finish from Lucho as well. Delighted to see him get off the mark early this season. But I don't disagree with him being taken off either in the second half because I don't think he was that impactful. Defensively, could have worked harder to help Robertson out. I think most of us will agree on that one. But the man did score the goal today, so he gets a point for that. Meaning I'm going to give him a score of 7 out of 10 today as well for Lucho. Salah. Now, I've got to caveat everything I want to say by talking about the substitution. So personally, I'm not fussed. He's disappointed to be taken off. That's okay. He shook his teammate's hands. No issues with that. He took his bandage off, threw it to the ground. Okay. He's petulant in a little bit, maybe tiny bit. But I love the man. And the greats never want to leave the pitch. And we can't talk about the goal today and we can't talk about the point we've earned without speaking about the part Mo played in it. That weight of pass, the vision was exceptional. Very unlucky to hit the crossbar with a right foot strike as well in the first half. Probably could have had another chance or two that he really could have done better with. But I'm happy with Mo, and it's lovely to see him add these assists to his game. We know what a fierce competitor he is. We know how dangerous he is in front of goal. But if he can add assists this season as well, that will really help the team out. So for Mo, 6.5 for me for Mo. And the last of the starting 11 is Diogo Jota, and I'm very disappointed today. I think himself and Andy Robertson were the two big underperformers. For somebody who's looked so sharp in pre-season as Diogo Jota has, I did feel like he just didn't give us enough today. He didn't press enough from the front for my liking. He didn't drop back to help out enough. He looked a little bit disjointed in possession. And then, of course, he had the bang on the knee just before half-time. And it was a bit of a surprise to see him come out for the second half. I thought Klopp would have made the change there with Curtis Jones. But ultimately, it was a chance that I don't think anyone will feel he took today because, you've got Darwin, you've got Gakpo pushing him for the starting role through the centre, and I don't think he's convinced the manager today that he's going to be the one that starts next week against Bournemouth. So, much like Andy Robertson, I'm going to give Diogo Jota a score of 5 today. I think much better is needed from Diogo. A quick word on the substitutes before we come on to the manager. Ben Doak looked bright very quickly when he came on, but then the game kind of got away from him. We weren't able to get him involved. Curtis Jones trying to make stuff happen, but again, I think guilty of taking a bit too much out of the ball at times. Elliott I thought was brilliant actually. When Elliott came on, I thought he really made the game open up for us a little bit. His work rate and energy was phenomenal, and he was trying to zip around the pitch and make stuff happen. Ultimately though, we just couldn't find that breakthrough, and a draw is a fair result. And for Darwin, very unlucky. The deflection took it away from Sanchez, and I think if I hadn't taken that deflection, maybe Darwin would have been on the score sheet. But there was also some work I wasn't happy with from Darwin. Not enough closing down, jogging around the pitch when I thought he should have been sprinting. But ultimately, we hope that he gets on a run and scores goals because that's what he's here to do. He's going to be, I think, fighting with Cody Gakpo for the manager's central striking position in the next game. And let's see what happens. Now, final word today is going to be on the manager, Jurgen Klopp. We have been critical of Klopp for his decision-making in-game in previous seasons, looking for him to make changes early. And I don't know if it was a personnel thing, a tiredness thing, a lack of options from the bench, but we didn't really get involved in that game too much in the second half. We had a great start. First 20-25, we were by far the better side. But to have one shot on target with the attacking talent we have, questions do have to be asked about why that's the case. And you can talk about the fact he hasn't gotten reinforcements, fair enough, but he's partly responsible for that. And I don't think he I don't think he tweaked enough today to get us back into the game and stem the flow at times from Chelsea, who, as the game went on, looked the more likely to grab a winner. So, from the manager's perspective, going to give Jurgen a score of 6 out of 10 today. I think, I do think he sometimes needs to just push it a bit more. Needs to take a chance a bit earlier. For instance, I think at half-time taking Jota off, none of us would have argued. You could have used the injury or the bang in the knee as a reason for doing it. He didn't. Dragged it on a few more minutes, and then the obvious thing happened. We made the change, and yeah, look, the game got away from us. You know, Chelsea finished stronger, and I think we probably consider ourselves not fortunate, but relatively happy to leave Stamford Bridge with a point. So that's what I've got to say, my friends. It's now over to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Do you agree or disagree? Of course, drop a like on the video, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. We'll be back. If you're watching this now, before 8:30 tonight, we should be back live with a new show around transfers. But if not, we'll see you guys soon. Same time, same place. Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.